Are you one of the hundreds of thousands of people that are curious about the ketogenic diet because that's all you hear about these days? Well, in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into it, so be sure to stick around. This channel is all about providing tips and tricks to help you lead a happier, healthier life. So do me a favor if this is your first time here and click that subscribe button as well as to tick that bell so you get notified when we drop new content. Now, let's get into this video. Just what is this ketogenic diet? The short answer is it's a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb diet that was created in the 1920s by Dr. Russell Wilder. It was originally developed to treat childhood epilepsy. See, in the absence of carbohydrates, our liver breaks down triglycerides to use the fatty acids for energy. This results in the production of ketone bodies. The original diet, often referred to as therapeutic keto, requires a daily intake of 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbohydrates. For sustained weight loss, however, these numbers have been modified to form the basis of what is now known as the modern-day ketogenic diet. With the ever-increasing popularity of keto, studies are being done all the time. As a result, more and more versions just keep popping up. Each one touts a wide variety of benefits, and their numbers are many. However, in this video, we're going to discuss the three most popular versions of non-traditional keto. First up is the targeted ketogenic diet, or TKD for short. The targeted ketogenic diet is based on the school of thought that you need carbohydrates to fuel intense workouts. There are some people who report reduced performance in the gym while on keto, and for them, this protocol works great. In fact, how it works is rather simple. You follow a standard, very low carb approach like regular keto, but 30 to 45 minutes before your workout, you take in 30 to 50 grams of fast digesting carbs. After your workout, you take in another 30 to 50 grams. The pre-workout carbs typically get used up in your workout and don't have a chance to make it to the liver to stop ketone production. When you exercise, particularly when resistance training, you deplete any glycogen or other nutrients from your muscles. So after your workout, your muscles are like sponges, ready to absorb all the nutrients they can. By taking in another 30 to 50 grams of fast digesting carbs post-workout, they get shuttled straight into the muscles, again bypassing the liver. By doing things this way, you get all of the benefits of using carbohydrates during your workout without fully kicking yourself out of ketosis, if at all. Next up is the cyclical ketogenic diet, or CKD for short. This one is a lot like TKD because it too utilizes carb manipulation. However, it does it in a much more complex way. Cyclical keto requires you to follow a standard keto protocol every day except for your refeed day. A refeed day is when you eat a specific amount of simple carbohydrates to affect supercompensation of glycogen into the muscle cells. This protocol requires that you fully deplete all stored glycogen from your body before you refeed. This is achieved by performing a strenuous full body workout to ensure that you use up any stored carbohydrates. Your refeed then begins immediately after your workout and continues for a period of 24 hours. You will need to take in 8 to 10 grams of high glycemic, which means fast acting, carbohydrates per kilogram of lean body mass, or you can convert that over to pounds. It all depends on what you're comfortable with. And then you will need to do so every 2 hours in order to effect proper supercompensation. By following this protocol, people that train at high intensity in the gym are able to do so without a loss of performance. The last version of the ketogenic diet that we're going to cover today is the carnivore diet, also known by its less cool sounding name as the zero carb diet. While it seems to be the new kid on the block, the carnivore diet is based on what is perceived to be our ancestors' way of life. It's widely thought to be fact that people who live in remote regions of the world, such as the Inuits, also known as Eskimos, have the key to living a long, healthy life. They eat nothing but protein and fat because there is no plant life available to them most of the year. As a result, they seem to live longer and suffer from less disease. There are plenty of people that say we have to have plants in our diet in order to obtain certain minerals and nutrients. However, using the Inuits and other cross sections of populations, for example, it creates a viable argument. The bottom line is this, folks. It doesn't matter whether you're keto, carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, or whatever. You need to find whatever works best for you to make sure that you get all the nutrients you need to keep you healthy. So with all that being said, are carbohydrates necessary? The fact is, our bodies run just as efficiently on ketones as they do on carbohydrates, more specifically glucose. Some scientists even say that ketone bodies are the superior fuel source and that we are actually putting our bodies at risk by relying on carbohydrates. The biggest disadvantage to relying on glucose as our main energy source is that it's very easy to take in more than we need. The problem with this lies in the fact that any unused glucose is transported to the liver where it's converted to fat for storage. Here's another problem. Excess glucose in the bloodstream causes insulin spikes. If the glucose came from simple carbs, the spikes fall as rapidly as they rose. This causes the body to crave more carbohydrates that it doesn't really need. And if we give in to the craving, more fat gets stored and a vicious cycle begins, one that easily can lead to diabetes and heart disease. Any glucose that the body doesn't need can be made on demand through gluconeogenesis, a process that happens when the liver breaks down amino acids from protein to create glucose. This process is also behind the myth that you can actually be kicked out of ketosis by eating too much protein. Gluconeogenesis is a demand-driven process, so it's not like our bodies just sense the extra protein and convert it to glucose. I actually talked about gluconeogenesis in another video. I'll link that in the description below. So, who would benefit from the keto diet? Obviously, anyone that's trying to lose body fat, so long as it's done correctly. The trick to losing weight on keto is to make sure that you dial back your fat and increase your protein once you become adapted. If you want your body to burn the stored fat that you have, you need to stop feeding it so much so it can. The reason I say you should increase your protein when you decrease your fats is simple. If you've done your homework, which I'm sure you have, you set your daily caloric intake to a deficit of 300 to 500 calories, which is standard for healthy weight loss. Now, considering that fat has 9 calories per gram, once you reduce your fat intake, you have to make up those calories somewhere. After all, you don't want your deficit to be too big, and since you don't want to add in more carbs, you increase your protein. The other benefits from increasing protein is that you will feel fuller longer and you'll increase thermogenesis, both of which also help with weight loss. The ketogenic diet is beneficial for more than just weight loss, however. As previously stated, children and some adults with epilepsy can experience relief from seizures. Epilepsy is a condition in which the activity of the brain's nerve cells is disturbed, resulting in seizures. Research has shown that when an epileptic patient's brain is running on ketones for fuel rather than glucose, these disturbances can decrease significantly, which in turn decreases both the frequency and severity of the seizures. There are studies being done all the time that are showing promising results in the areas of sleep disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and cancer. But the fact remains, folks, just like any other diet, the keto diet isn't for everybody. Does it have its benefits? Absolutely. And we're not done talking about them yet. But the fact of the matter is, it may not be right for you. You always want to consult with a professional before you do anything with your diet. Now, let's get to a question that I get asked all the time when it comes to keto. Are there any side effects? The fact is, folks, that any side effects typically are found when you're first adapting to keto. For example, it's widely reported that people on keto have bad breath. Believe it or not, this is actually a good thing. Well, sort of. There are 3 main ketones created in the body: beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, and acetone. Now, I know the first thing you think of when you hear acetone is nail polish remover. So you're asking yourself, why would I want nail polish remover in my body? However, you need to keep in mind that while it is the same compound, the levels in your body are minuscule in relation to the amount in nail polish remover, and it's in no way harmful unless the amount is extreme. While our bodies are producing ketones, unlike with glucose, anything that isn't used for energy is expelled. Glucose is stored. There are 2 ways that this occurs, either through urination or exhalation. Acetone is the ketone body that causes bad breath. So when you start to notice that sort of rotten fruit smell to your breath, that's your body getting rid of excess ketones that you're not using for energy. This is a clear sign that you're in ketosis. One of the best ways to combat this is to drink lots of water. This encourages your body to get rid of the excess ketones through urine rather than exhaling them. Not to mention, we all know the importance of hydration. When you're first adapting to keto, you may experience a temporary rise in cholesterol levels. What research has shown, however, is that long-term use of proper keto protocols actually increases HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and lowers LDL, the bad cholesterol. Because a ketogenic diet is focused on getting an adequate amount of healthy fats, these fats actually assist in the process of turning small particle LDL into large particle LDL, which is far less likely to contribute to heart disease because it can't penetrate the arteries. Also, while in the adaptation phase, you can experience headaches, constipation, nausea, fatigue, and brain fog. The constipation is due to a lack of fiber from removing grains and most fruits from your diet. If you focus on high fiber vegetables and remember to include things such as macadamia nuts, avocados, and other cruciferous veggies in your diet, things will be moving along normally before you know it. The brain fog is simply your brain adjusting to using ketones instead of glucose for fuel. This typically passes quickly, and in fact, most people report an improved mental alertness and clarity while in ketosis. The rest of the reported symptoms are typically a result of low electrolytes. This is due to a loss of water. Let me explain further. For every gram of glycogen, the stored form of glucose, in our muscle tissue and liver, we hold 3 to 4 grams of water with it. So, once your body has depleted all the glycogen, you've also lost a lot of water in the process. This explains why so many people report a large initial burst of weight loss when starting keto. However, when you lose water, you also lose vital minerals such as sodium, potassium, and magnesium. The best way I've found to maintain your electrolyte balance is to use pink Himalayan salt. By adding a single teaspoon of Himalayan salt to a gallon of water and drinking it, you're getting a little more than 4 grams of over 60 trace minerals, including the 3 most important ones that I've already mentioned. So to sum things up, the majority of the evidence available today seems to show a large number of benefits to keto. And while there are many people who have been keto for decades, the research is not yet complete on the long-term effects as a whole. However, I'm not a doctor, I'm a nutritionist. And as with any other dietary topic I discuss, I'm always going to tell you to do your own research as well as to consult your physician before starting any dietary protocol. I hope you found value in this video, and if you did, please make sure that you like it, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell so you get notified when I drop new content. I'll see you in the next video.